What's up, y'all? What's happening? Welcome into another edition of the Scouts Radar. Ben Spicer welcoming you in for another episode. We're back after a week off. I'm joined by two of my usual three hosts. Unfortunately, Mike Morris couldn't join us this week. He is busy with some work projects, so we will definitely miss him. But we do have RL and Mark. What's up, y'all?
What's up, baby? What's going on with you, man? Shout out to my boy Mike. He doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? He been worldwide traveling a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And sure, he'll be back though. He ain't gone nowhere.
Yeah, he'll be back, y'all. He got some projects going on at work. You know, he got a promotion thing, so they keep my dude busy. So right now we look like the Brady Bunch with that empty box over there in that corner down there.
Well, as we said, we took a week off. Is there anything you guys want to touch on before we name our prospects of the week?
One thing I like to touch on, everybody that watches this show. First of all, I appreciate y'all watching, tuning in, taking notice of it. It is catching on. We missed last week, but we're back. First thing I want to do is I want to call out our host, Ben Showtime Spicer. If y'all see that damn shirt and you know anything about me, he was taking a shot at me earlier. But I ain't, you know, y'all know what it is. When you get a good whooping, you just can't say that. You just go to your room, put your face in the pillow.
You're going to go to sleep.
And go to sleep.
Yeah, go
to
sleep.
I feel. That's how I feel right now with them Seminoles, boy. Oh, Lord have mercy.
Man.
But, hey, we got a whooping. Well, we got a whole season of whoopings coming.
Well, they could probably use some of the kids that we're going to highlight on today's show. Why don't we jump into it? You got anything you want to add, or
me? No, man. Just you know, everybody's right now is in the meat of the district play. You know, the teams involved know the importance of district now. All of the preseason stuff or non-district things are out of the way. So now it's you know, win or go home for some teams. Some teams are, you know, kind of making a statement that you know, they're here to stay. You know, South Lake Carroll. I mean, well, we got to talk about Rockwall and Rockwall Heath, which I think is probably one of the best regular season games. 79-71, probably in the state in a long time. But you know, those defenses probably got their work this week because they gave up. But you know, on the flip side, those are two of the most explosive offenses in the state. You know, South Lake Carroll was the only one, I believe, to beat Heath, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Rockwall is a great team as well. You know, we're talking about star-studded cast on both sides. So, you know, offenses have been great. You know, shout out to my guy, Ollie Gordon's been balling out of control these last couple of weeks, OG. You know what? And then, you know, Spice, you know, I'm going to have to say this. You know, he brought me up to Denison this week. And shout out to Rock Hill. I mean, this is a fledgling program. We're talking about under two years, and those kids played their heart out. They lost in the last few minutes of a game, but you know, we were calling that game, and you know, if you go back and watch that, you know, it just seems like they were just one play away, but they couldn't get it done. Brenna Cox, Knight, I believe, Shannon's the running back. They played a heck of a game. You know, shout out to that coaching staff. And that's the way football goes. It's either a bounce here or a bounce there. Jadarian Price, Notre Dame commit. He kind of shut the door on him, but you know, he had some tough yards that night, and Ben could probably agree with this. The defense bottled him up for the most part, but when you stick with something and you're confident in it, and that's your horse, and you run, that's the horse that you're running with. You stick with it, no matter how many times you get stopped. That coaching staff knows that they're going to bring him to the table. They're going to win with him or they're going to lose with him. And he broke their backs with a 69-yarder at the end. But I was very impressed with Rock Hill. Shout out to Rock Hill. I was very impressed with Brenna Cox, UT commit baseball. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, shout out to those guys. I had to share that because I was very impressed with them. You know, you and RL can attest to this as well as Ben. You know, we see a lot of teams, we see a lot of kids. You know, it's easy to get down and quit when you're down. But if you show that heart and resiliency, And this was a great venue. If you've never been to Denison, you should go up there and check out a game. If you're a fan of football, just an old school mentality. These guys, bring their hard hats to work up there. So shout out to Rock Hill.
You mentioned Rockwall and Rockwall Heath, and we're going to go ahead and transition to our list for this week now, because I think that's a good segue, because my pick for this week, Cergio Perez, actually has more passing touchdowns than Heath's Josh Hoover and Rockwall's Braden Locke, two guys who are committed to Power 5 programs in Indiana and Mississippi State, respectively. Perez is going on to South Dakota. That's where he's committed to. But 25 passing touchdowns on the season in 5 games. His numbers in last week's win over Naaman Forest, 37 of 49, 428, and 5 touchdowns. He's averaging 5 touchdowns a game. Of course, he's got Jordan Hudson to throw to, SMU commit, but a guy who's really, I think, impressed with his numbers and is able to back up his play along with those stats. I think Garland's a team to keep an eye on as the season progresses.
Yeah, I definitely think you hit the nail on the head with that one. We're talking about a man that's, committed to South Dakota, a hard commit. He's been committed to him for a while. We're talking about a guy that's a leader on that team. Has been playing on the varsity level for, I believe this is his 3rd season. And he's got a great supporting cast. I think the Owls are not getting the love that they should be getting, just around the state. Probably in DFW, everybody here knows about them. But, I would say they have to be ranked in the top 10 in some publications. But this guy is, a winner. I saw him over the summer at a few camps, saw him play some 7-on-7. And, he's on his way. So don't be surprised if they continue to make noise. Great footwork, strong arm, can run it. He's a dual threat. I mean, now here's another thing about the state of Texas that we keep getting, poached for our talent, right here, right there. Ben's is where it is kind of with the 9-4 elite thing, North Texas. We've been talking about these guys. This guy's in your backyard with 30-minute drive. Can't make an offer. But, it's just some of these guys are flying under the radar, and that's why they're on the scouts radar.
One thing that I said, and I told Ben and Marc this in the pre-talk, I went and looked at this guy's video, and I put the scout hat on to watch his highlights. And one thing that steps out to me is he's always under control when he's in the pocket. Whether he's getting pressured or whatever, his footwork is just that good when he's in the pocket that he sidesteps. He steps back. He steps forward. When he's rolling out, the one thing that I love that I watch in his highlights, and you see it, is this young man turns his shoulders, whips his hips, and fires that football. And one thing, coaches, is Cergio Perez he's got that touch on that football, on that long ball. It's like whether he's rolling out, whether he's standing in the pocket, he's dropping it right over his shoulder into it. And one thing else I like about him, I'm going to say this is, and we want to pay attention to it here in high school football, is when you put out your film, especially as a quarterback, don't show me 5-9 routes. This young man throws an out route that will make any coach's head turn. It will. It gets there where it's supposed to be. It beats the DB there. So, I mean, you got some that don't have the arm strength, but they're trying to throw the out route. And, it gets there right when the DB picks it off. This young man slings that football, and his touch on that football is great. Great pick, Ben. Great pick.
Another quarterback that we want to highlight on this week hails from Denton Guyer, a program, obviously, that has made a lot of noise so far this season. And I believe Marc and I are going to have the opportunity to do another game together this Friday. We're going to be at Prosper and Denton Guyer, and Jackson Arnold, obviously someone that I know that Prosper's keying in on their quarterback. He's had a great season, and I think he's someone who's going to be, playing deep into the season, deep into December, making that late season run along with this team.
Well, I had a chance to get eyes on him the week before against a great Atascocita team out of Humble up at North Texas. And, I actually saw Jackson step into the role when Eli Stowers went down in the state game 2 years ago. He was a wide-eyed freshman. he's grown up since then. Actually got a chance to talk to him, stand in front of him physically. He's ready. You're talking about a guy that can make all the throws on the route tree, accuracy, big arm. I mean, he really it jumps out of his hand. I'm standing all the way at the end of the other side of the field in the end zone, and they're driving towards me, and all I see is him step back and just whip it out. And I say, okay, now I can see his arm strength, and he's got a cast of receivers that's probably second to none in the state. With Jace Wilson, my guy Sutton Lee, it's just a plethora of receivers. You got B.J. Phillips, Army commit in the backfield, big offensive line in front of him, and Guyer set to make a state run. Tascasita was a very good team. And I had a conversation. Each week, most of the time, I FaceTime Ariel just to chop it up with him. And I told him, outside of the modern day Duncanville game, this was probably some of the best talent that I've seen on both teams on one field so far this year. Sometimes it's one-sided, sometimes it's not. But Jackson Arnold's, I think, has the ability to be, Elite 11 invitee at the end of the season, going into a senior season, probably go to all the camps. He shouldn't have a problem getting in the door on those. We're talking about a guy who's about 6'2", 6'3", probably floating right under 200 pounds. And he's a dual threat. He can run it. He runs the read option well. He had a couple scores on the ground. And right now they're sitting at 4-0 heading to the Prosper game. And they're looking to be the favorite right now, in 6A. Depends on if they go D1 or D2. Last couple of years, I think they've gone D2. But one thing you can say about Guyer is that offensive line, is going to be very physical with you. They're going to open those holes. They give him time. He stands tall in the pocket, and he just whips that ball out. It jumps out of his hand. And his deep ball, is very accurate as well. Everything about this guy, I was very impressed. One thing about me, and Ariel can probably attest to this as well as Ben, is I like to get on the field. I like to see you. I watch film a lot, but it's nothing like getting in the eyes and seeing it. I like to smell when I'm on the sideline, I can smell the Gatorade. I can hear the pads. I like to get the feel of it, in a game. And this guy has the feel for the game. He's got the offense under control, and those guys listen to him in the huddle. And he's ready for prime time. And I think that, Guyer makes a deep run to stake this year behind Jackson Arnold.
One thing of looking at Jackson's film is, like you said, when you go and you put your scout hat on, tall in the pocket, mobile, not just in the pocket. He does that well, moving around in the pocket so he can get the throw off. But when it's time for him to take off, you've got to account for him. You've got to account for him in the RPO or whether it's just scrambling. I love that about the kid. Just looking at his film, touch on the ball, very strong arm. Like you said, he has the frame and he has the touch. He's got the accuracy. He's got the power on the throw that he's ready for the next level. One thing that stood out to me, and I was just watching this film, is he sidesteps, steps forward, sees the hole in front of him and takes off. And he's got some speed. He's got some speed and he's got some moves to where little 7-8 yard run turned into a 40-yard run. So, I mean, that's one of the things that's added for Jackson. It's nice to see. It's nice to see.
Denton Guyer, obviously a program that we think is going to make a deep playoff run. Another one that I think we could all agree on that's going to be deep into those playoffs is Katy. And we're going to talk today about one of their linebackers, Kana. Guys, what does he show you all?
If y'all do not know Ty, I'll start off on this one, Marc, because I'll make it quick. Because if you don't know him, I don't know what the heck y'all been doing. Ty, I've been watching Ty now for about 2 years. Had a chance to speak to him last year after their playoff win. When you think about a college linebacker, there's a certain frame, certain build that you think about. But when you think about that, I want you to go back and think, now I know right now I'm going to be putting the age on myself. But I want y'all to go back and think about the linebackers from the 80s, from the 90s. This young man is about 6'2", about 215 pounds of just pure muscle. And the way he plays the game, he's so cerebral with it. And he's so athletic that it looks like it just comes easy to tie. It's just, okay. I get to talking about tying, I get a little emotional. This dude hit somebody last year in that Katy game. Came straight downhill, straight through the B gap, blew off a blocker, and blew the kid up. When you blow somebody up and it snaps, that helmet snap on the side and that helmet comes off, you know he came with bad intentions. There's so much to this kid's game. I'm telling y'all, look at the film. Every box that you want to check off for a linebacker, Ty has done it. That's exactly why USC is very, very lucky and happy to have Ty.
Well, he fits the linebackers of old of USC, Clay Matthews, all of those Junior Seau, which, looking at the film, I've seen this guy. I think he's been a 4-year starter for Katy. And every run that they made, he's been a unique principal, right in the middle of it because he's a Mike linebacker. He fits the 3-4 scheme that they run perfectly. Shoulders are always square. The thing about Ty's game, if you watch the film, is he's so patient with his feet. They're quiet. He moves like he's done it before, So it's like a trained assassin almost. He doesn't get too quick out of pocket. And he doesn't overrun the play. Sometimes you get these linebackers that, speed guys, they get there so quick and they forget to break down. But this guy's shoulders are always square. He makes tackles. And if you look at him, he's got that linebacker lean. It's sort of a lean that they have at that position where he's always in position to make a play. Quiet feet, sideline to sideline. This is why this guy's high on the radar. This is a great pick as far as your classic middle linebacker. And when you say from the 80s, we talking about, guys, you can even go back farther, like Dick Buckus type of player, just his long arms, lengthy physique. He fits everything perfectly. This guy's going to be, I'm interested to see what he does at USC. I think that he fits that particular Trojan mystique as far as linebackers go to pedigree that you want to see. And Katy's had linebackers like this for years, so, Ty's not the exception. He's a leader. He's been there, done that. I don't think it's anything offensively as a defender that he hadn't seen because Katy's played the last couple of years deep into the playoffs. So he's seen the spread. He's seen the I formation. That means that he's a cerebral player, like you said. That means he studies film from watching what, him on his tape that we recently watched. He definitely diagnoses plays very well. In that guard center tackle box, he reads it perfectly. So this is a guy that's, again, how do you let this guy get out of Houston, out of Texas like that? What are we doing that we're missing these guys? You know what I'm saying? Because the state of Texas right now, everybody wants to compete at the SEC level. This is a guy that could play in the SEC right here. How do you let him slip away from College Station? How do you let him slip away from Austin? What is it about that the kids are not seeing that they don't want to stay home to play? That's the question.
Let's keep it on the defensive side of the football for our next selection this week. Gregory Featherstone III, a cornerback out of Reagan.
Well, when I talk about Gregory, the first thing, and this is something that I know it's not really what Scout's Radar is about, but it is what Scout Radar is about. This young man has a 4.33 GPA. Whatever school it is that he puts in his mind, that's where he wants to go. He's not going to have any problem getting in there. One thing is he's a 6 foot, about 170 pound DB, long, technical, has that what coaches look for when they have that long range speed. He has that. You know what I'm saying? So let's say, and I haven't seen it yet this season. And I'll be honest with you, I have not seen him getting beat for a long pass at all this season. The footwork that he shows, the speed that he shows, the aggression that he shows, because he does come up and tackle from the corner position. The technique that he shows when he's out there on that island is really it's got me baffled as to why he doesn't have more offers. He's right there. I'm telling you, he's 6 feet, but I mean, long arms, long legs. He's long. Only thing I can think, maybe he's 170 pounds, but you think about it, he go to college, he gonna easily put on 10, 15 pounds. Only thing I can think is, hey, he didn't have the scouts radar to push his name out there. Too late now, Gregory, because we got Gregory out there now. He's going to be out there. Gregory is a kid, like I said, got the grades, he's got the technique, he's got the footwork, he's long, he has that speed that you're looking for, that long-range speed. He's playing at Reagan, which is a really good program, so he's getting the coaching. He's playing on, I know it's 7-on-7, he was playing with DEF CON with 7-on-7. So we want to make sure that we're getting some light, shine some more lights on this young man. Once he gets his mid-season highlights together, I'm definitely going to be pumping that out, because I've got some coaches that have already said they're looking for DBs. Hey, this is definitely one that I'm going to be putting on that list.
We're talking about a guy that comes up physically and challenges receivers, good open field tackler. He also plays a little offense, but I think his home's going to be on the defensive side. He has a natural knack at the DB position for what you want to do. If this guy's long, arms, rangy, can cover ground, his closing speed is what jumps out on the tape when he's kind of that DB that baits a quarterback into thinking that they're open, and then he's right there. Going to throw it. Right. He wants you to throw it to think they're open, and then he's going to snatch it from you. But I like his physicality. I mean, it shouldn't be a reason that, with the GPA, and I imagine if his GPA is that high, the SAT and ACT scores are right behind that.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know a couple defensive coaches right now that would probably look at this guy once they get him on tape, and see him. So, this is a real good pick. And this is what the Scouts radar is about. We see the big guys as well, but, we want to shine a light on guys that don't get seen to get them on the radar. There are coaches that are beginning, shout out to everybody that's supporting and watching these shows, because this is what we do it for. You know what I'm saying? So for the kid like Featherstone, and I like his game. And, that's a great pick to be on the radar this week.
We started this week's show with 2 quarterbacks. We're going to close out this week's pick with one more, Christopher Medelez.
Christopher Medelez is a 6 foot, 190-pound quarterback from San Antonio Holmes High School. Shout out Holmes, and shout out my little cuz over there, Nathan Williams. This for you, big dog. He's an old lineman there that protects Chris. But I had to put Chris on here because this is exactly what Scouts Radar is about. This young man has taken his team. He's taking control of his team and has his team right now looking at 4-1. If you go back and look at the history of Holmes over the past, I don't know, I would say maybe 6-7 years, they haven't had a winning program. So when I say not having a winning program, that means they've had more losses than wins each year. This guy right here is a leader on his team. He has tremendous arm strength. He's got the footwork to go with it. One thing that I would want for Chris to do is to work more on that footwork, because he is so strong. His arm strength is so strong that he tends to rely on that more than the footwork itself. Meaning I've seen Chris throw from his back foot a little too much for me. And if a coach looks at it and be like, hey, well, this kid here, all he's doing is just slinging it off that back foot. No, if you look at him, he is throwing it and he's got some touch on it. Now, imagine if he steps into that throw, how better that would be as far as a coach looking for him in scouting. One other thing is that he's very elusive. He is definitely what you would call a dual threat quarterback. And the thing that steps out for me, Chris, is your leadership. You have taken this team and you have shown that you are a leader in and out of the huddle. Shout out to Holmes. Shout out for what y'all are doing. Y'all keep moving forward. Like I said, and I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to go on and say it. I would come to a game, but Northside ISD does not let us go to y'all's games. So I'm going ahead and I'm putting it out there. I've already talked to other coaches in Northside ISD, thanking us for what we're doing, thanking us for showing up at their game when they go to Northeast to play. So, hey, Chris, get those highlights to me. I'll put them out there. You're going to be on my list going to coaches in this next week or two, bro. Just wanted to let you know that. We still have y'all's back, all athletes in Northside ISD.
Well, you can tell that Chris is a gamer, definitely an athlete. Looking at the tape, and I talked about this before we started, I can definitely tell he's a baseball player as well. Just by everything, the way he moves, strong arm. He moves well in the pocket. When he's got a clean pocket, you can tell he gets it off. I don't know if it's the number, but he kind of reminds me of Brad Smith. Used to play for the New York Jets. Kind of the same type. When he was coming out, I think he went to Mizzou. He was a quarterback. Same type of running ability, power when he runs it. What number is Lil Cuz on here on the line?
54.
Okay. Shout out to Lil Cuz over there. He doing his thing. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Straight up. But I like what they're doing. I was telling RL and Ben before we started that when I was in high school, San Antonio Holmes was really good. So when he brought up San Antonio Holmes, it kind of made me wonder, where they've been for a while. Because in the 90s, they were really good. And they were a playoff team down out of the SA. So shout out to Holmes and that program. I'm glad to see that they're back at the forefront and trying to make a playoff run here. But Chris is definitely somebody that should be on the radar. And leadership is something that helps you get recruited as well. I mean, kids, coaches, and parents, listen to all of the things that we're saying about Chris. Your leadership happens to be at the forefront because coaches ask, what kind of kid is he off the field? And do the kids listen to him? How is he in the huddle? Do they respond to him? Do they, when he says something, do they like, oh, shucks, man, I don't want to hear what he's saying. He say this all the time. Or do they stand up and say, let's go, Chris? You're right. Chris said we're going to do it. Is he that guy that leads the team in extra sprints? Is he that guy that's, vocal in the weight room? Is he that guy that's vocal in the classroom? Is he a leader in the hallways when everybody's coming? You know what I'm saying? Chris is the type of player that makes you want to wear that jersey and protect him. And you can tell by the way that offensive line gets that push that they want to block for him. So I'm definitely looking. I'm going to keep an eye on San Antonio Holmes coming out, man. Great pick for the Scouts radar.
Well, that's all 5 picks that we have selected on this week's episode of the Scouts Radar. Before we sign off, anything you guys want to say?
Nah, I think we said it all, man. Looking forward to seeing Rosar this week at the Prosper Denton Guyer game. I think that Harrison Rosar is, he's one of the top quarterbacks in his class. He's starting to rise in the ranks as far as, guys like us talking about him. He's going to be going against a great defense over there. Those guys really fly around the ball. Shout out to my guy, Vincent Page, the North Texas commit. When I went to the game, got a chance to see him. He went to Nolan Catholic, so I'd seen him a couple years ago when he was there. But, I mean, this guy's college ready. Great linebacker, flies all over the place. They line him up everywhere. He even returned a kick. You know what I'm saying? Like he caught a kick on the kickoff and he took off in reverse field for about 45, 50, 60, not 60, but 45, 46 yards and showed some speed. So, I think that's a top matchup. Also, Katy and Tompkins play this week down in the Houston area.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That's a big game. Oh,
I saw that.
Before I get off, shout out to my guy, CJ Dumas, committed to Prairie View this week.
Shout out, CJ. Yeah. Congratulations, CJ.
Katy Paytow, man. One of the, under the radar quarterbacks. That's a guy that's going to get a chance to play early, probably down in PV. Shout out to CJ Dumas from Paytow as well.
Well, I want to do one last shout out to my birds, Them UTSA
Absolutely.
Roadrunners.
Shout out UTSA.
UTSA. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Coach Traylor got something going on down there where he's starting to keep it in-house, recruiting a lot of that Texas talent. And believe me, every opportunity that I get, I'm tagging them. I already know what they're looking for and how many they want, but I'm still going to keep sending it to them because it's a great thing that they're doing right now. They got that program going in the positive direction. And it's also the home of another little cuz over there. Yeah, Sub-Zero, Frank Harris. That's that QB. Yeah, Sub-Zero. Yeah, he's over there doing big things. Shout out Baller as well. Y'all Baller. That's Rashad Wisdom. But I wanted to shout out my Roadrunners. Great win this week.
Well, I'm glad one of your teams is winning, RL.
Oh hell! There you go. There you go, bro. Hey.
Have they played Louisville yet?
We beat them last week. Well, y'all, another great episode. Mike, we missed you this week. We'll be back next week with another episode of the Scouts Radar. For Mark Henry and RL Martin, I'm Ben Spicer saying thanks for tuning in to another episode. We'll see you back next week.